guess we'll. Marley, you want to lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda? I think we don't need the one addition because it's already been solved, right? The Zoe Sanders thing.
Right.
Okay.
And we're just gonna add algebra.
Algebra, that's right. Where do you want to have that? In the administrative report or
For items for discussion.
items for discussion? Okay. Okay. Any other changes or additions? Okay, we'll move on to approval of the minutes from March 11th, 2025. First, I'll take a motion to approve them, and then I know we already have a big change to make. But, okay, Vincent will make a motion to approve them. Megan, do you want to point out what you caught on here?
Sure, we just need to add, Bill Goki came to the last meeting for the Staff Booster Club and fundraising, so we need to add a section probably after Athletic Director Carrie Jewell. I believe we went after Carrie. And then under items for approval, we did vote to allow fundraising for the Booster Club.
So with those two additions, I'll take a vote on approving the minutes from March 11th. All in favor? Oh, Becky?
Sorry, I missed that. I thought I took notes on it, but who knows? I remember that now. So that was for the, I just want to put down the right thing. It's the, not the athletic committee, but the
Athletic Booster Club.
Booster Club.
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember writing that. So I don't know how I missed it. Sorry about that. Okay.
That's okay.
I got it.
Okay. So it'll be in two places, Becky. Once after Carrie Jewell and also once in the items for approval.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. All in favor of approving the minutes from March 11th, say aye. Aye. That's unanimous. Okay. Up next we have public participation. Do we have any? Do we have any online? No? Okay, we'll move on to the administrative report. Brian?
Are you sure?
Yes, please.
Yep.
Yep.
Got it.
All right, so let's get it up there. So welcome to our lead learner report for April 8th. So we'll start off with our mission statement. As I always like to, is the mission of Weathersfield Schools to prepare and empower students to be leaders with a global vision by helping them develop critical thinking, communication, collaboration skills, and creativity. And then I'm going to turn it over to Carrie, who's going to give a PTO report.
Two brief reports tonight. So just wanted to let everyone know that we did have our comedy night on March 28th, which was so fun. It was a great turnout. We were able to raise some money, so we appreciate everyone that bought tickets and supported that event. We held an open house type meeting last night, so it was our regularly scheduled board meeting. And we just invited the community in and staff were invited as well to just come learn about kind of the inner workings and how someone might be able to get involved a little or a lot. We were very careful not to go the a lot route last night, but we did have about 80 people, I think, come, and we offered some childcare. Marley and her sister Natalie played with the children in the AP room, so their parents could just come and hear a little bit about the PTO. So that was a great time last night. We also stocked the staff lounge with snacks and beverages last night to sustain our staff through teacher conferences this week. So kind of anytime day or night, we can go up and get refueled. Maybe some energy drinks were put in there too. And then we're gearing up for Staff Appreciation Week, which is the first week of May. So I do want to encourage anyone that might be listening or read this later, that it is Staff Appreciation Week in May. And although we do a lot to celebrate our staff here, it's a time to acknowledge your childcare provider, your teacher, your, para that you might have for your kiddos, administrators, anyone in the kind of childcare provider world. So they deserve everything and more, if we can give them just a little bit of appreciation. That's all we have for this month.
All right, thank you, Carrie, and change hats, and now athletic director.
Again, very brief. So our season is officially underway, although it's not outside currently. We were only able to field 2 baseball teams this year, so we have a 3rd and 4th grade team and a 5th and 6th grade team as far as travel goes. And then we have a kindergarten and a 1st and 2nd grade t-ball. And then we have a very large track and field team, so I'm excited about that. Track will not get started until after vacation. But we have, Laura Berry has allowed us to use the gym last night and then Wednesday and Friday, just to get the kids started to move, because our first games are the last week of April, so we gotta get 2 weeks in. So unfortunately, we don't have the numbers of interest in baseball and softball that we have the other seasons, but we're gonna make it the best for the kids that are doing it. Any questions for any of that?
Thank you,
Thank
Carrie.
you.
All right, now I'm going to turn it over to Marley, and she's going to talk about a couple of events that have happened at the school.
Okay, so we had the Peter Pan Junior play on April 4th and 5th. On the 4th was a Friday. We had the preview, so that was only a little skit of it. It was like the middle of the play that we did. And we also had on Friday a 7 o'clock play, and then on the next day, on the 5th, we had a play at 2 o'clock, and then there was an after party for the people in the play. That was like I loved it. It was like really magical and stuff. A lot of people came. They were able to get waters, and there was flowers. And also people could buy these like star wands. In one of the scenes, cast members would walk across holding like signs of London and like little star wands, which is the flying scene. So it was really cool that the audience members could get little stars and like wave it in the air, like also the flying scene. So there was a few pictures. It was so funny, and I like loved it because I was in it.
Which part were you?
I was a pirate, Starkey, and I was also the shadow.
Oh,
So that was
you.
Yeah, I don't get any credit in the whole thing, but Miss Youngling was like, sorry, and I was like, it's okay. But it was really funny. I definitely loved Captain Hook and Smee, the two on the soda hook. Definitely so fun. Like, it was definitely a blast. I'm a little sad at Joker, but it was a great opportunity. So yeah.
I'd like to say that play was spectacular.
Yeah,
It really
it was very good.
Absolutely.
It seemed short, so short, too. But we did it. 8th grade game night. We have been planning this, like, me and some of my friends have been talking about this since the pod dropped. And this is what we got out to, 8th grade game night. It was so fun. I loved it. It was in the gym. Most 8th graders came to it. We had some like chaperones. Sorry. And it was definitely a blast. I loved it. Some like me and a little bit of my friends came up all dressed like different onesies. It was so funny. I loved it, and it was just so fun. We had Mr. Marquez play some games with us, so then we had one of our social studies teacher, Mr. S. He's so tall, so we tried playing a game, and he just kept looking over the nets. So like we had nets with parts, and he just kept looking over it. So, but it was so fun, and I wish I could do it again. But I had a blast. And there's Mario Kart, a bunch of games, and I loved it. It was amazing.
Thank you, Martin. Yeah, it was one of the things that the student plan, they came to me and it said that they wanted to do a lock-in, and that gave me nightmares. And so we made some adjustments and we compromised and came up with a game night. So it ended up being 4 hours, and I thought 4 hours was going to be too much. It goes from 5 to 9. But it actually went by really quick, and it was a lot of fun. And the kids enjoyed it. They're such a small group of our 8th graders because it's our smallest class. And such a tight-knit group, so it was pretty awesome that they got that opportunity to spend together. And they wanted to spend the time together, and they had fun. And some of our students that are very quiet, I heard that they have voices. I haven't heard their voice in 4 years. They've been very quiet the whole time, and they actually are. Some of them are pretty loud when they're out there with their friends and stuff. So it was a lot of fun. It was one of those things that, and DJ was there as well. And then Meredith Kelly also helped chaperone. So we had 4 adults there, 4 adults and like 18 kids. So it was a good ratio. And they did go home at 9 o'clock. So that was nice. We also just hosted the town challenge. So the Weathersfield Proctor Library always puts that on. I think my team got robbed. Emmett might.
I'd say nothing. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, Emmett might disagree with me because his team won. So we got to the championship round again, but not only we had a staff team from Weathersfield, we had an alumni team, and we had a current student team as well. So it is a lot of fun. Everybody's there. John always does the music, and he did do the music of TV shows and movies.
And I gave you one answer.
Well, yeah, you did, but that wasn't mine. That wasn't mine that you gave. It was somebody else, and they stood with. But it was fun. But like I said, we did get robbed, but the Historical Society did win. But that's okay. We'll get them next year. So I've already been brushing up on. Actually, we've got the Weathersfield history. I sort of got a ringer with the Weathersfield history. Our nurse, Grace Knight, is like amazing at Weathersfield history. She knows it all. And like she was going through the book and figuring out things. And she's like, I think they're going to ask this question. And then, sure enough, they asked that question. It was some random thing. I don't even remember what it was. But she was amazing at it. And I think even the Historical Society was a little bit stumped on some of those Weathersfield. You won't say that. I know not in the public session. Yeah, I'm sure you did. But good job to them. So someday my name will be up on that plaque. Maybe I'll just join the Historical Society. So we'll see.
There you go.
BTGF testing is done. Yes. Excited about that. Thank you, Kristen Hubner, who's our testing coordinator. She did a flawless job of it. Really excited that that is done. We've been finishing up makeups, but the majority of it, we might have 1 or 2 makeups still, but major testing part is done. And we'll have that all taken care of, wrapped up before we go to spring break. Speaking of Kristen Hubner, so we talked about it a couple meetings ago about having an instructional team leader. So Kristen is going to move from an interventionist to the instructional team leader. So remember, our interventionists were half-time coaches, half-time interventionists. Now our interventionists will just be full-time interventionists. And then Kristen will be an instructional team leader. So she'll be doing some of her normal jobs that she's been doing. It ends up being a small cost savings to the district, which is nice. Plus she'll be able to focus a little bit more on that. And then Amy Cam and Christina Hughes will be just our full-time interventionists.
Thank you for signing this.
Yes. Mark it on your calendar. STEAM night is coming up May 1st from 5 to 7 p.m. We've already planned out with River Valley Technical Center down in Springfield, as well as Black River Innovation Campus. They're going to have VR goggles here. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. So we're excited about that. So they're going to be working with us on that, trying to have that different communities joining together to be able to help us. Plus our teachers are involved, and we did use some of our title funding for one of those family engagement nights. It's flight snacks and technology fun. So we're excited. So Music March Madness, this is something we do in March. And so it's Marley explained at the last meeting that the students go head to head with songs that they picked. Bye, 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 1. So kindergarten is on a roll. That's 2 things this year. They've won 2 big events, but that's Ms. Robinson's class. And they were pretty excited. So they have the trophy in their classroom right now. And they have the bragging rights of winning March Madness. You know, it's not quite Florida, but that's okay. They did it for us here at school, and so In Sync is our song. All right, I never thought I'd say that. So this month we broke up our attendance. So the way that our Power School system goes now is it's lovely for BJ and Carrie and myself, because we have to keep switching back and forth between elementary school, middle school, elementary, middle school. So you have to try to remember. But after this year, I think we've gotten it down pretty good. But we went ahead and broke it up so you have a little bit more disaggregated data. So we have 168 total students in K through 5, and our average daily attendance is 157, or 95% attendance rating, so not bad. And then for middle school, so 6 through 8, we have 76, and our average daily attendance is 73. So we only have 3 students on average out of middle school that are missing.
That's
So
awesome.
Yeah, I
That's
think that's
really
pretty impressive.
awesome.
So I think we leave that to our wonderful teachers, our electives, giving students things that they want to do, because I don't think anybody else can break it down. So I want to really be able to share that. I think
And our
today we
great
had,
students too.
our great students. I think today we had 1 student in middle school that was out, because we have that breakdown of every day of how it looks. So always look for that to see. So safety drills, we did in the bus evacuation drills yesterday. Those were always fun to do. And so that happened yesterday morning. So the kids get here and they get evacuated from the bus. And they did it pretty quickly. It's one of the things that we still want to work on, though. We're talking with our transportation department about how we can get the kids in practice a little bit more and have the bus drivers will be a little bit more aware. But just because, God forbid we ever have to use it, but we want them to be prepared. We have to do it twice a year, but I think we're going to need to practice a little bit more. And then I do want to do the whole school and have everybody, because not right now, not everybody does it, because there's certain students that don't ride the bus. But just in case, like my students hardly ever rode the bus, but if we have an evacuation drill, we want to make sure that everybody knows how to. Leader and me, focusing on that as always. We're just finishing up with our, so we're doing our MRA.
Yep, we got it.
Thank you. We'll be giving the students the week of May 19th through 23rd and the families, and that coincides with our leadership day on May 23rd as well. So it's a measurable results analysis, so it tells how we're doing as well as the school with Leader and me. So as families, you'll be able to take that. It'll be a short quiz survey that we're going to be doing here at school. Students will get it, teachers will get it, faculty will get it, and plus parents. And then leadership day is on May 23rd. It's that Friday before Memorial Day weekend. Last year, you guys were able to have us do a early release day. This year, it was already planned as an early release day. So we're trailblazers. We started off. So we are planning that again. So it'll be from 8:30 to 12. So we'll plan out, give you more information. We're talking with the leadership class what they'd want to do, and we're working on that even as we speak. And their student-led conferences are going on. It was great to see some of the classrooms today and students going in there. They did student-led conferences a little different. Megan, you went to one, both you and Sarah went to one today. Great opportunity. I think we do have a larger turnout of families that come to student-led conferences because the students are truly taking the learning opportunities. We did get some feedback about how some parents of older kids don't like them quite as much, but we still had quite a few older parents as well. But the younger parents, not the younger parents, the students of younger children, sorry about that, definitely like them because they're able to have their kids really take ownership of their learning. And they go through their portfolios, and there's some of the reasons why student-led conferences are quite successful, but we definitely see a larger turnout from students, and it's great to see them there with their family. And they go down there, they don't need a direction, they just go down and lead it. And some of the classrooms did it in small groups, so the kids last year, some of the folks we got was, they felt that all these adult eyes were watching them. Now when there's different groups in there and working on them together and simultaneously going on, it makes it a little bit less stressful for the kids. Some of our upcoming events. Early release day on Thursday. Students get out at 12 p.m. And then we have spring break. Yeah. Super excited about that. April 30th, we have the Singo, which is bingo but singing. You don't have to sing along, but it's one of the fundraisers that we approved at the last board meeting to help with our music program so that they can do their music in the park. Steam night, kindergarten registration, always a popular event on May 9th. Our leadership students are going to be helping out on that as well on that day. It is a Friday during school time, but the students will be in shifts, missing a few classes, but they're going to be runners with kids, making sure, and that connection with our older kids, with our incoming younger kids is always great to have. School board meeting, I put it on there May 13th, hopefully that is the right one. It's the second Tuesday. I just went ahead and preemptively did that.
Yep.
Panther Cup Night, one of my favorite events always, from 5 to 6 p.m., which is where our newest students, our kindergartners, come in and they get an opportunity to play, spend some time in their classroom. It's an hour. And leadership students are going to help with that as well. Leadership Day on the 23rd, and then May 30th is our 8th grade dinner and dance. So it's coming up, it's quick. Like, we have 41 days left. Not that anybody's counting, but that was the number somebody told me the other day. 41 days, it has gone by quick this year.
When is graduation?
It is June 9th.
Sure about that.
Yes, I'm positive, it's the Monday, June 9th. Yes,
The 11th, yeah.
Yes, it's 6 p.m.
That on my calendar.
16.
So we're hoping for we're hoping for a day.
Waiting to hear.
We're waiting to hear about our day.
Oh, okay, get
Or
one
snow
day,
day.
one day away.
And what's nice is the 8th graders still come back and they help out and they participate because we'll be doing field day, and they usually run field day and do those things. So they don't really get a choice, they do have to come back. Because they know so much and they don't want to leave to go on to high school yet. Right, Marley? Good answer.
Yeah.
One more day.
Yeah. All right, that's it for me.
They actually like to come back when they graduate, it's interesting. Before I get started, I have to shout out the play. I know you all did, but it was incredible as always. Students were awesome, and a huge shout out to Erica and Mark, and I know Carrie helps and BJ, everybody helps, but it's a lot of work, and it's really incredible to be able to come and watch. So proud superintendent. Okay, I have mostly some news from the legislature, which is still in heated session. So on March 28th, not that long ago, House Ed approved an education transformation bill. It's called H454. You probably heard about it on the news. Came out of House Ed with a 7-4 vote. It is, House Ed worked with the Vermont Superintendents Association and the Vermont School Boards Association, and really it was the governor's bill, but they've massaged it and changed it. So it came out, I heard that it is supposed to come out of the House, I think this week. And it came out of Ways and Means today with a foundation formula in place, which we got some news on that. I think the base rate will be about $13,000 per student, with then some added weights for particular students that need additional supports. It means that our excess spending goes away, the threshold, and I believe. And so it takes care of the issue of high school tuition affecting our excess spending threshold. So that's good news. Hopefully it'll provide us with the money that we need to educate our students. We know we spend more than $13,000 per student currently, so we'll see how that goes. It does offer some gradual changes. I think a more thoughtful timeline for these big changes. In the bill, the recommendations currently, there's some class size recommendations, minimums. I think K1 is 12, I think 2 through 5 is 15, and 6 through 12 now is 18. I heard talk of moving that to 20, but I think it's currently 18, which may have an impact on all of our schools, to be honest with you. We have some classes with 15 in 2-5, we have some with 12. So what that looks like, we'll have to figure that out. It does include some additional members to the commission, and their charge will be to come back to the legislature by December 2025, so this year, with a more informative plan of where essentially schools can consolidate, or SUs can consolidate. So they're putting some experts on that team that can, like some retired superintendents, who kind of are in the field and know where things make sense to consolidate. So So that should come out of the House this week and then obviously moves to the Senate. So stay tuned. I'll bring you more information. I did just want to include this statement from the governor. You may have seen it. He has said that he wants to be upfront. He's not going to support adjourning the session without a bill to transform the funding system, establish the new governance structure, that is the SUs or the districts, and includes a timeline. So he has made that statement. I learned Mount Scottney meeting last night from Elizabeth that he doesn't get to decide that. So we'll see what happens. You probably heard, or maybe not, on
Could I
Friday.
have
Yeah.
a quick question?
Yeah, sure.
Any idea what's going on with the Senate bill? I have not followed it yet, Bill. There's substantial differences
There's
between the
substantial
two.
differences.
They got a lot of work to do.
They do. Theirs was, I think, the last one, I forget the name of the senator that sponsored the bill, it'll come to me. I believe that one had, I want to say 12 districts.
Yep.
12 districts, a more aggressive timeline, I believe, not a plan to get there. I mean, there's a lot of things to consider when you are consolidating. You mean, we have leases, we have a teacher contract, we don't have a statewide calendar. There are lots of things that have to be worked through when you do consolidate, and that takes time. And to be honest, I think they're starting to do some community input sessions, but I don't know how much people pay attention. I mean, people are busy, and I hope people are paying attention because these changes will impact everybody.
I
And
think some of their class sizes were a little bit larger.
I think they were too. Yeah. I think they were based on the PICUS report.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see. It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks.
Yep.
So, the other thing that happened, which was somewhat stressful over the weekend, we heard Friday afternoon from Secretary Saunders. The superintendents got an email that came from the secretary, that came through the federal government, that is about certifying Title VI funds around diversity, equity, and inclusion. We were told that we needed to individually certify that DEI, according to their definition, is not happening in our schools. I think there was a lot of pushback, and we were informed yesterday that we would not be required to certify. I mean, there are a lot of unknowns for what that means for the districts, for the superintendents personally. But that was pulled back yesterday. The state is going to send a unified letter, like some other states have recently done, stating that we already do certify that we are in compliance with Title VI, and we are following applicable law and reject conditions or assurances that are not supported by the current law. So that I was in a meeting today with the secretary, and the federal government gave 10 days, which I think would have been Thursday, to certify. They've extended that by 10 days. So we have a little bit of time for legal counsel to craft that letter and get it sent out. So I just wanted to update you on that. A lot going on daily. Quarterly financials are in. They're linked here. Let me just pull them up quickly for you. They're in the portal if you want to look at them closely. Larry's really good about putting them in there. Let's see if this will. Okay. It's not allowing me to scroll. Hold on a minute. Still loading. I will talk while it loads. So the one thing that Larry wanted me to share with you about, these are the third quarter financials. Not all of the revenue is in, which is always the case when I'm reporting to you, and it looks really bad, but it's really not. So next year he is going to, we encumber expenses, so you'll see that those figures are encumbered. We can do that with expected revenue as well. So in his reports next year, he's going to encumber the revenue so that it's more,
So it's
shows you
not
a more
scary?
accurate picture. Yeah, but you heard him out on our walk, so we don't have all the state tax revenue in, but you are, currently, let me get to the last page here, yeah. Those are all the details. So currently, it looks like you are, in the red by almost $1 million, but you're really not. So he's expecting,
Is this an ITAX?
I'm sorry. I should print it out for you. Actually, I'll do that next time. So, if all of the revenues that we are expecting to come in, we are in balance, is what he said, which is, there'll be probably a slight surplus.
Okay.
If that all works out.
And where can we find this? Is it on the SU website somewhere?
It's in your board portal
Oh,
for
it's
this
in our-
month. Yeah, yeah, for this month's meeting.
Oh,
So
see,
you
if we
can
just
look at
click on the word financials here, it'll come up.
Yes, it'll. Yeah. Okay, so that is, I think that's my last slide. Is it? Yeah, that's my last slide. So happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Anyone have any questions? There was another thing that, with the legislature, well, the legislature with the yield bill.
Yes,
So I,
it passed,
It
so
but it's not great news for us.
it's not, well, it's the buy down, right?
Yes.
So they, did approve the buy down, which will lower the tax rates, but it just sets us up, next year to be not in a good place to start.
We will be in a
In a
deficit
deficit.
next year.
Right, from the ed fund, so, but that did pass, yeah. There to go.
The joy of giving tax cuts to people was just too much to, just like it's did pass by, so. We will end up starting off in a deficit, so
With our budget.
with our budget next year. Okay, so, if there are no more questions for Christine, I'll move on to items for discussion. John, you wanted to talk about the cell phone bill that is currently in the legislature?
Yeah, there were two bills, one in the House, one in the Senate. Needless to say, both chambers got a little bit busy with other things, and neither one of them made it out,
Okay.
made it through crossover.
Mhm.
That doesn't mean they're dead at this time. Next year, they'll probably bring it up. The only part that I was concerned with was not so much the capturing the students' phones, although it would change the way we do it, was the restrictions on the use of social media by the school itself. That language I was a little concerned with, so I'll keep an eye on it.
Okay, thank you.
There are a lot of people concerned about that.
Mm.
Part of it, yeah.
I know we already do have a
We have
Pretty
proce-
good.
we have procedures,
pretty
yeah.
good
Right.
procedure for cell phones in our
Yeah.
school, so I think we're doing good on that. Then we have substitute pay, which I believe we talked about a little bit last month, but Christine was
Yeah.
gonna come back to us with some
Some
figures
numbers.
and
Yes, so I did some digging just around the area to see what people were paying. The rates are right around 125 to 175, Hartford's 130. Wyndham Southeast pays $21 per hour, so it's in that, it's in that ballpark. I was asked to bring back kind of budget updates where you're at in your budget with subpay.
Mhm.
So over the past couple of years, you, in FY '22, you budgeted 30,000, you spent 12,500. In FY '23, the budget was 35, you spent almost 19, so you had a difference of 16,000. Last year, the budget was 26,600 and you spent 31. So you're over a little bit. This year, your budget is 27,625 and you're at 19,185. So you've got about 8,500, which will probably get you through the rest of
Yeah.
the year. So that's where you're at,
Yeah.
budget wise. I think at the SU meeting was that last week? The request was for the rate to be increased to $150 a day to keep us competitive, to attract subs. I think if you look around the area at other jobs that people can do that are probably, subbing is hard. So I think 150 is a reasonable request.
And that'll be voted on the SU board.
So each local board has to vote because it's your
Oh,
local
okay.
budget
Oh,
that
okay.
impacts. The hope is that everybody does the same thing because it greatly helps payroll when
Okay.
it's
So
the
you
same.
do need us to take a
Yeah.
vote here.
Yeah. Yes.
So, and are we the first ones or?
No, Madison
others?
did last night.
And they did 150?
They did.
Okay. So, would anyone like to make a motion to increase sub pay for this for next year?
Yes.
For next year to $150 a day?
Did we budget the same amount for next year as this year?
That's the one number I didn't write.
Only because of, or, you know, plan
It's
to
a
be.
similar number.
It's a similar number.
Yeah, I mean, your history of it last year, I don't know why, what happened last year, sickness or whatever, you've had a surplus, or you haven't spent the line completely. And high staff attendance is pretty
Pretty good,
here.
And every school has their subs, but also having one conducive rate would be that if another school needed,
Right.
like we would all be paying the same, all the
That's
schools in our district. So that's another benefit.
Yes. It is. I will say that subs like their buildings because they get to know the kids and
Right.
the staff but we have shared in the past. Sure.
And currently we're at 125?
You are.
Extra $25 a day.
Yeah.
All right, would anyone like to make that motion?
I don't make a motion.
Okay, Sarah made the motion to have sub pay at $150 a day starting next year. Is there any further discussion?
It's gonna be district-wide.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That was unanimous.
Thank you.
Okay, up next we have the future of Four Winds. I brought this up because I want to make sure that Four Winds stays around, and so we're trying to make it a sustainable program.
Mhm.
And, hopefully involve some other schools in this with us. So I think we have some people that are here to participate in that.
Yeah, and then I'll introduce Naomi and Emmett in just a second, but then also, we talked about it on Friday, about trying to include another school and what the cost was going to be for that. There is a little bit of an upfront cost. It's gonna cost us about $600 to include a second school into it.
Oh, really?
So we're going to go ahead and front that money for this year with the anticipation and the hope that we're gonna spend a little bit of money to make a little bit of money, and save a little bit of money. So we do have another school within our SU, Windsor agreed to do it. So they're excited about it. I talked to their principal, Tracy, and she's excited and she's gonna get a crew together. And they're gonna come here, get as many people as they can for our May 12th date to be able to train with us so they can actually see what it's going to entail.
Mhm.
So we'll go ahead and spend that money from our grant and then we'll work on it from there. But I want to let Naomi and Emmett talk a little bit about Four Winds so that everybody's familiar with it. I think we're all pretty familiar with it, but I think it's good for them to be able to share a little bit of information about the program.
Yeah, we're
Ripley, all right? Yeah, you get to be at the podium.
We're paying
Yeah, well, I don't want to talk too much about it. Is anybody not familiar with Four Winds?
people online might not be.
People online. Okay, well, I'll just give a brief overview. So, this is a program that has been happening as Four Winds in Weathersfield School since 2013. And took a break for COVID, and we've been doing it for this is the third year we're back. And Four Winds, before that, I think it actually was, there was a previous program called ELF that was also in the school. I know one of our volunteers, Karen McGee, was part of that, or was involved in that when she was a teacher. So Four Winds, it's a nonprofit. I'll just read you their mission here. It's an organization advancing the understanding, appreciation, and protection of the environment through community-based natural science education and research. And what happens is that the nature program, which is what we have in the schools, offers monthly, we do 6 throughout the year, natural science workshops in communities in Vermont and neighboring states for adult volunteers to share nearby nature with school children. Each workshop includes natural science information, a variety of hands-on learning activities, and we often get to go outside, and it's a change in the children's day and their regular learning, which I think is very important. There are over 40 lessons that Four Winds has, and that's divided into 5-year-long courses, which rotate each year. So just as an example, those 5 courses are ecosystems, patterns in nature, earth, which is the one we're doing this year, structure and function, and cycles in nature. And yeah, as I said, it gets kids looking at school outside in a new way. They also don't have, at least according to Ms. Van Ronen, there isn't a lot of science curriculum in the classes because they have so much math and reading to do. So it actually, it brings a significant, percentage of their science curriculum, even just with 6 times throughout the year. So, what do you have to say?
Oh.
Yeah.
What do I have to say for myself? I suppose, apart from, the learning aspect of it, there's the whole community side of it, that brings parents or, members of the community or caregivers into the school, which is great for them to be able to, for us to be able to come into a school. A lot of parents never get the chance. Would love to spy on their little kids. I think on the flip side, I think it's not a bad thing for kids to see their contemporaries, parents, or community members coming into school. Good role model kind of, thing. In a community, I grew up in suburban Dublin, where you knew everybody who lived around you saw them every single day. In a rural setting like this, it's possible that you'd never see some of these kids. You won't know them when they're adults. They won't know you. And I think, it is important to have that in a community, because isn't that what a community is about? It's watching out. It's seeing that 19-year-old kid who's an adult now, doing something stupid at the gas station and saying, I know you already. I know your parents. Remember me? Otherwise, we're all just floating around like little snowflakes and nobody knows who anybody else is, So yeah, anything that nurtures community in any way, obviously, I think we're all in favor of. So what does it actually cost us? We did a little back of envelope kind of math here. We have 15 volunteers at the moment. It works out at around $19 per year per child that we affect, because we only go to 5th grade.
Yeah.
And then when you break that down to what works out as, per session that we come in, it's $3.15 for that class, for that hour and a half, and the reason is because we have 15 volunteers and counting, hopefully, with the other school coming in. So it's, value for money, it doesn't get better because you have all of that, the heavy lift is for free, so it's not a bad thing, obviously. So yeah, less than $20 for the year, and hopefully getting less if we bring in the other schools. So, you don't get much for that.
Yeah, it's great that Windsor is interested. I know it's hard, we've worked hard to revamp the volunteers since COVID, and I feel like we're at a fairly good place right now, and hopefully we'll get maybe some new kindergarten parents next year. I hope that Windsor is able to find the volunteers. I think that's the hard piece to it, I think. You know, what, as, you know, it's a good value, but if you don't have those volunteers, then it can't work. So, any questions?
Do you see any other ways to, you know, to involve even more? Like, would each school that joins on, would they be another $600? Like, or,
I have the breakdown, I
at
don't
some
have it in
point-
front of me. The cost goes down when you add more schools.
Yeah, the cost per school is less if you have more.
because I'm thinking about like Reading Elementary, like that's nearby.
Yeah,
Just
and
sort of
I've got a couple really
approaching
good connections in a
Mhm.
school district just south of us.
Mhm.
So I know a principal there and a curriculum director really well. So we're also working on that school district as well to see if they're interested, and see if we can, you know, broaden it a little bit more throughout the region, so.
Yeah, Heartland used to do it.
The hard part is the volunteers. I mean, we're just lucky to have a very committed group of parents and community members that do it, but I mean, Heartland just couldn't keep the parents, enough parents, and they literally ended up with one, and they had to shut the program down. So, I mean, we've just been really lucky to retain and grab a few new ones every year, but I mean, it's not an easy, I mean, it would require quite a few committed people, like twice, sometimes, some people do 4 times a month. So it's a big commitment.
They do have, in Heartland, I was there when we had it, and I was
Yeah.
very sad when it left. As I was sharing earlier, my husband, when my kids were little, was a Four Winds volunteer, so I know the value of the program. Their PTO is growing in Heartland, so that might be a connection I can talk to Lindsay about, just seeing
If
if
they
the
wanted to do
PTO
it,
might
yeah.
kind of help find the volunteers, so I'll check with her.
John?
For the program to be successful and to get the volunteers, we need to figure out some method to reach out to not necessarily parents. I think I'm the only one that isn't a parent
Yeah.
that's in it.
Right.
And I'm not sure a lot of people, I mean, we've got a pretty significant retired community just across the valley over there. And I think if we could tap that resource, I think, including Windsor, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's a resource that's underutilized.
Yeah, I've wondered about that. I think last year I did put it in Front Porch Forum.
Almost gotta
You know,
twist somebody's arm.
you know, so, you know, we
A lot of it's word of mouth. I mean, that's how-
tried to put that word out, but yeah, I mean, definitely, like, you know, if everybody can, you know, if anybody comes across people that would be interested
Exactly.
in volunteering in the school, we would love to have more volunteers. You know,
Cool. So the cost is about another $600 per school. Yeah.
And then I know we have a grant now.
Mhm.
Are there other grants that we're looking into
Yes.
for the future?
Yep.
Okay. All right, because I think it's a great program and I want to make sure it sticks around. So
okay,
that'd
thank
be
you.
great, thank you.
Thank you both for coming here.
Okay. Up next, we have a retirement, I guess?
Yes, so we do have a retirement. Mr. Vila, our beloved science teacher, is officially retiring this year.
He's not teasing us again?
He's not teaching us this year, so I actually had my phone out just in case, because last year when we did this, he did send me a message and I didn't know who it was. And we were doing some other things, so, yes, he is retiring for sure. We have it up on School Spring as an anticipated opening because I was waiting to find out for sure, to get board approval that we were accepting his retirement, so that we can get a new science teacher in there, so he'll be effective at the end of the school year.
So you need the board to vote on?
Yes, please make a motion and
Okay.
approve.
Would anyone like to make a motion to post an official opening for a middle grade
To
science
accept his
teacher?
retirement.
Oh, to accept his retirement, okay,
Yeah.
we'll do that first. Okay.
Yeah.
To accept, Mr. Vila's retirement.
And if you don't accept it, you
Okay.
can't.
Sorry.
Okay. Any discussion? I know we'll all be sad to see Mr. Vila go. He's, one of the, when you think about middle school in Weathersfield, you think about Mr. Vila.
And obviously, I mean, our science curriculum is taught very well, and I'm sure has something to do with Four Winds as well, given that early grade levels, but he does an excellent job on our VT cap testing with our 5th and 8th grade science, and he'll do a great job on that.
So he'll definitely be missed.
Yes, he will be.
And we wish him good luck in his retirement. He does something with trees or
Yes.
something, right? He like grows
Yeah,
trees.
he's Christmas tree, so if you need a Christmas tree, Mr. Wheeler's the place to go. You just gotta drive a little bit. That's
Yeah, he unbelievably drives like an hour and a half each way to get here.
And he'll do it with a tree shoved in his car too. He's got a little Subaru, so it's pretty nice.
Okay, so all in favor of accepting Mr. Vila's retirement, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then do you need us to approve?
No, because I'll just approve. I'll
Okay,
just
so
post
since
it
that's
on there,
approved, then
so-
you can do that.
Yep.
Okay, then we have parental leave.
Yes, so we have one of our wonderful newer teachers this year, Brianna Kavakis, who is having a baby, so exciting for her. So she is due in the middle of May, so she plans on going out. She plans on working up until she possibly can't anymore, and then she will be taking the rest of the school year off in the summer and promises me that she'll be back in the fall ready to go, so she's excited. She's having a girl, I hope that's okay that I'm saying that. I think it's public knowledge, so super excited for her. That's, a blessing anytime that anybody's having a baby. So.
Okay. How does the sub situation for
So we actually have a sub lined up already. We have this really amazing teacher that retired last year that is going to come in and sub
I
for
wonder
her.
who.
So with our sub pay, we obviously are paying her sub, but we're offering her a contract to do something. So she gets, since she's doing lesson plans, I mean, Mrs. Kavakis has done general lesson plans, but Mrs. Fuller will have to do more lesson plans. She'll have to do grading and all that stuff. We'll bump up her rate a
And
little
she
bit.
has to be certified.
Yeah.
She's a long-term sub.
So
so
she's-
It's not the same, yeah. Okay, so we'll take a motion to approve, not that we can deny her, but.
One more
We're
year,
not
it's
having
a
that baby.
government.
To approve parental leave for Mrs.
Mrs. Kavakis.
Mrs. Kavakis. Megan made the motion. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that is unanimous.
All right, thank you.
She can go ahead and have that baby.
All right, we'll let her, I'll tell her it's okay now. So.
It does seem funny that the board has to approve
I
that.
know.
It's in the contract that you can extend that approval, so that's why we do it. It can go up to, I think it's like a year. Or
But she's
extended.
She's
or-
taking them, yeah.
She's taking them.
She very well planned. I mean,
Yeah.
she could have planned it a little bit better, but she did
Yeah,
a pretty
we're
good
working
job.
on her skills a little bit over time, a little better. That's kidding. Said that in public session.
And then we have a resignation.
Yes, so we do have one of our teachers, so Ms. Campola, who is new to us this year, she's teaching first grade. She has the opportunity, she applied to go into the Peace Corps and was accepted, so she has a 2-year stint in the Peace Corps, and so she's having to turn her resignation. But this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for her, so I said, go for it. You can always come back and teach later on. There'll always be a home for you here at Weathersfield. So she is officially resigning from her position for now. And
she was a first grade teacher?
She's a first grade teacher, yeah, and so she's going to be teaching English
Okay.
in the Peace Corps.
Okay, I will take a motion to accept Miss Cantola's, hopefully temporary, but we'll say resignation for now.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, that was Sarah. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that's unanimous.
And we'll post her job. It's
Yeah.
an anticipated one as well right now, and so we'll post that officially.
Okay, and then up next we have algebra.
Okay, so algebra. It's perfect timing today because I've been doing a little bit of groundwork on it, and so we talked about it at our admin meeting today. So algebra right now some of our 8th graders who are eligible to take algebra, they travel every day to Windsor, and then they miss out on our advisory period in the first grade class, because that's when our math class our 8th grade math class is. And then they take a bus and come back here and then still miss a little bit of times because our schedules don't totally align. So what we're proposing is we have an amazing teacher here that can teach algebra. So what we would like to do is, because the research that I've done is that if you take algebra, then the next grade level, obviously the next class, as long as you're successful in algebra, high school will accept you to take geometry. You don't get high school credit for it. I've talked to several different schools. It doesn't matter whether you do it or not. most kids that are that driven and are gonna be taking algebra as an 8th grader are going to take 3 years in math. So your son was in that
Yeah.
situation, my kids are in that situation, lots of kids are in there where they're taking 3 years in math. One of the things though that we found out through talking with some of the high schools is that because they're taking algebra now, they're missing out on some of those basic 8th grade skills. There's a whole geometry section that they're missing. It's building on their math skills to go on to high school. So I had a really good discussion with the math coach for high school at Woodstock. What we would like to do is keep our 8th graders here, take regular 8th grade math, so they're getting those basic skills. And then those kids that are eligible to take math or to take algebra and meet that criteria would take algebra as one of their electives. So it would truly be a choice if they do it. They're not going to miss out then on all the things we do in the morning. Right now, when we have late start days because we have a snow delay, or we have testing, or Windsor's doing something, the kids miss out on class. So when you add up the days, we had a student last year that talked to me, an 8th grade student, and said, hey, you know, Mr. Mars, I have missed like 34 days of instruction because of this, and this that I would be getting at Windsor. So we wanted to try to alleviate that. What we would do is Mrs. Stilson would still be teaching, she would still have an intervention class, she would still be the teacher on record, and she would be there to support the students when they need it, but it would be a self-paced class through VTVLC. So it'd be an online course which is accepted through all the high schools, so they'll definitely be able to move on to geometry without a problem, and that's the one way that they can guarantee whether they're going to Woodstock, if they're going to Windsor, they're going to Hanover, wherever the kids are going, they'll be able to have that skill and be able to do that. So what we would like to do is propose, we would like to do an MOU with the union so that Ms. Stilson will be teaching that. She's still the teacher on record, and she can still communicate and help with the kids, but it would primarily be through VT and VLC. So she'd sort of be the guide on the side. Still be able to do intervention. Those kids are going to be self-motivated. They still have a teacher through VT, VLC that they meet with, they can ask questions with, but then they can get direct responses from Ms. Stilson if they're having questions about the program. I've known several students that we've had have gone through VT, VLC and been successful with it, and then still have that 8th grade math to be able to get that skills. So the cost is about $400 per student, so it's a relatively low cost for us. We're anticipating, looking at the numbers, I don't even know how many for sure, because Ms. Stilson, we're looking at those for how many kids. But the nice thing is we'll be keeping our kids here on campus all day long.
We'll save that busing as well.
It'd save busing, it'd be saving a lot of things, and kids aren't gonna be missing out on activities. And we tried for a year and see. And, you know, Ms. Stilson may decide that it's too much, and we'll go from there, but I can't see her saying that. And I think kids are driven, especially some of our math kids are really driven and want those higher academics, are going to embrace having that as an option, because we offered that online component last year when we were trying to figure out an alternative for Spanish in a foreign language, and kids worked really hard, and then there'll be a teacher there that'll also help guide them with it. So I think it's a win-win situation, but I just need to, because it was something that was set up prior to me being here.
And prior to me.
Yeah.
I
prior
think
to
the
you.
board voted on it. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do
Yeah,
remember
so
voting on it.
I needed to come to you.
Yeah, there weren't any other options. It was either they go to Windsor or
They didn't get it.
they didn't get it. Yeah, this was kind of before the whole COVID thing when online school became much more acceptable. My son took, while he was here, he took his geometry through VTVLC, my son Cooper. And he also took, during the COVID year, he took calculus AB through VTVLC.
Math guy, huh?
And yeah, he's in electrical engineering now. He did well with VTVLC. He did a couple other remote school things. Well, I won't mention their names, I guess, but he did not, do as well in those because VTVLC just seems to be really set up quite well for
They are.
teaching.
Yeah, for sure.
So have you gone to the teachers union yet, or you're
Yes,
saying
I
you're going to
already did.
apply?
So I already did all my homework, my pre-work. I was being proactive and talked to them and said, this is what I'd like to do. How do we make this happen? And so we sat down with Mrs. Stilson, we sat down with our board president here at Windsor, or with Weathersfield, sorry, and we talked about what we would need to do, and this is what we came up with.
Okay, so they're on board.
They're on board 100%. Like to work together.
Probably vote on it, Amber.
Yeah,
because you did
Yeah,
last time.
we will. And then just financially, so it's $400 per
Yeah,
student to
and
do this?
we still have, we have that grant from the anonymous donors, so we're gonna go ahead and use that money because it was originally earmarked for those type of things, so it fits
Okay.
right within that grant.
Okay. How much longer and how much more money do we have in there?
We have some still in there, so yeah,
So
I'm trying to
we're
get it to
good?
use for, yeah.
We're
I
good,
like
at
that,
least
you
for
know,
the-
since the movie was, or the money was slotted for that, I want to use it for that as soon as we
Yeah.
can for students.
And this is the whole academic year? The
Yeah.
$400.
It's a good bargain.
Oh, I
Yes.
thought it was,
Pretty cheap.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I was there for the original discussion, and, you know, main goal of it was just to be able to offer algebra for the kids. There was the bonus of with them going to Windsor that they did get high school credit for it. But like Brian said, it's very true, like if kids are advanced in their math, they're not gonna like take 2 years of high school math and then quit. They're not gonna need this, this one credit. They're gonna take 4 years of high school.
Yeah, and I'm gonna add, can I add, most schools don't take it. Most high schools within our area, I think Windsor does take it, and so they would only have to take 2 years. But places like Woodstock, they still require them to take 3 years.
So they would have to take algebra as a freshman?
No, they don't have to
No, they
take
don't take
algebra.
algebra, then they
Just
would
they,
just move
it
on
just
to
doesn't
geometry.
count as one of their
Their math
three
credits.
math
Okay,
credits.
gotcha.
So they wouldn't have to,
So they would be in geometry when they
yeah, so it
start.
puts them to
but,
the next level, no
yeah.
matter what, so. And I asked, does it matter if it's on a middle school campus or a high school campus, and they said, no, it doesn't matter where they did it, they're gonna put them in the next level. But they wanna make sure that they're academically strong in that, because we've seen some gaps in that, so. And we
Yeah,
did talk, sorry, we did talk about the high school experience, and right now, where that classroom's positioned, the amount of time that the students that are eighth graders aren't really getting that exposure to a high school campus, because that was part of the rationale too. Because I spoke with Kate Ryan over at Windsor,
Yeah.
and she said where the kids are at in that class, what they're doing, they're not getting much of a high school experience. Anyways, they shuttle in right as school starts, and they shuttle out right after first period. So they're not getting that atmosphere of being at a high school either.
okay. So I mean, my feeling is just that the kids should be able to take algebra if they're at that level. And I think as long as they're able to take it, and BTVLC is a very good program, I'm okay with doing that and trying it out for a year. So I'll take a motion to approve, using BTVLC next year for our algebra program.
So
John made the motion. Any further discussion? All right, I'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
I
And that's unanimous.
Yeah.
All right, do we need an executive session? No, okay. We're setting the next agenda. As Brian already let us all know, it's May 13th at 6:30. Let's see, what do we have?
We had, on the work plan, a curriculum implementation update from the instructional coaches.
Okay,
No, Sarah, you've met with the teachers, but we've had that on the agenda.
Okay.
They'll come and-
Yep, we can have them.
yeah, maybe see how they're feeling for, as we head into the end of year.
Yeah. And we have, under items for discussion, we need to approve the tax anticipation note so that we can borrow
Okay.
money if we need to, so that's on there, but that's it.
and I also was thinking we should probably talk about our board retreat,
Yes.
next
we should
month,
talk about
and-
that, Yeah.
figure out what we're gonna do for that.
And then hopefully I'll have a hiring update, hopefully I'll
Yeah,
have two
that'd be
teachers
awesome.
So, that's good.
hired by then.
Hopefully no more resignations or retirement. And then we scheduled, I don't think, I mean, we were kind of iffy, I don't think we'll be done with STAR by then, and so we can do the student growth report in June, or do we have to have it ready?
It depends on, the window opens up, soon, but that, I don't know if we'll have it done, but we can
Put
can
it there,
try.
and if we don't have it ready, we can do it the next month, okay.
Because that'll be our retreat, so we can still talk about it at our retreat.
Okay, great.
Okay. All right,
And you said it's part of the admin report? the student
does
growth
anyone
report?
have anything else
Yeah,
they
I'll
want
add that in there.
for next month? We'll probably have another legislative update.
Oh, yeah, we will.
So everything will be excited by
Regular
that, right?
report.
Or not quite, maybe?
I don't think quite,
Yeah. not
but we
till
should
June.
know something. I hope.
Start window opens May 12th.
May 12th, okay.
So we
Wow.
won't have.
No,
it
we
by
won't have a student
then.
growth.
We won't
Yeah.
have a
No,
student.
we'll do that in June.
Figuring out how
All
I
right.
just got a message saying, oh,
No way, that's weird.
I think that happened last year too.
Yeah,
We
I
heard
think
it
it
in
did.
June, yeah.
Okay, I will take a motion to adjourn then, sounds like we're all done.
Before we adjourn,
Oh.
I'd like to take the opportunity for all of us to wish Mr. Martis a happy 50th birthday.
Oh, I didn't even know. Just today?
no, I'm not turning 50. I'm already past 50.
Oh, what birthday?
It's my daughter's 15th birthday.
Oh, I blew it. I'm sorry.
That's okay, no, it's my daughter's 15th birthday tomorrow. So in the
Happy
Hispanic
50 plus.
culture, it's a quinceañera, so it's a big celebration. It's like a
That's
mini,
true. Oh,
it's a mini
I
wedding.
screwed it all up.
And
I'm
it's-
sorry.
Yeah, so that's okay, thank you though. No, I'm turning 53, I'm old.
Well, it's a compliment then.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And we're done. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.